It's still early in the 24-25 NBL season, but the Minnesota Bulldogs hope to follow up a triumphant victory over New York against a Grand Rapids team that is currently undefeated. It's the Minnesota Bulldogs and the Grand Rapids Fusion from Pact Charter School in Ramsey coming up next. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden, and we're joined by a special guest. You will see her hooping it up for De La Salle this year. You might have seen her in the last couple of years with Minnehaha and the Minnesota Stars, Isa Griefenhagen. Now, Isa, this league, a semi-pro league, a lot of guys looking to stay sharp, try to build their way up. But Minnesota coming in 1-1. They had a tough loss to Chicago, followed up with a big win over New York. How important will it be for them to get a good start today?
Very important. I think building up momentum and coming out with good energy and being with each other will really help them take this game away.
Now, Grand Rapids, we don't know a ton about them. They're 2-0. Their first game, I believe they either won by forfeit or the score hadn't been entered. Either way, Minnesota looks at this game as a key divisional matchup, one that could decide seeding in the playoffs later in the spring. So for Grand Rapids, making the trip, it's no different when you go on road games. You've had plenty of long road trips, I think, between Stars and Minnehaha and soon to be De La Salle. What is the mindset when you go on the road coming up against a team that is trying to follow up a big win?
I feel like you need to treat it as you're going through a long school day and just going into the game. Even if the bus is, even if it's a long bus ride, you just need to have the mindset, get into you can meditate, do your regular game day ritual. I feel like you just need to be yourself and get yourself into that mindset that helps you lock in quick.
We'll find out some players to watch on the Grand Rapids side, but for Minnesota, Elijah Saba was one of their big men. They struggled a bit in the fourth and ultimately came up short against Chicago. If you were with us for our last game, they've made a few changes since then to their roster. They've also changed locations, but we'll see if they've worked out those kinks. If they can pick up a win here, that could go a long way to getting a favorable playoff seed. We'll be back for the starting lineups. This is NBL Basketball.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between.
Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Now, Isa, having a chance to look at these rosters, we mentioned a lot of them have high school, college, and in some cases professional experience overseas. Saba comes to mind. He played in some overseas leagues, including Italy, and I'm looking at a lot of the veterans on this Grand Rapids team. These guys are committed to the sport because they've all played on bigger stages, much like you are now at De La Salle and in the Metro Stars. What goes through your mind when your name is being called in the starting lineups before the game as they're going through it right here?
Since I started playing varsity basketball at a little bit of a younger age, in 8th grade, still in middle school, it seems more like normal to me now. It's not necessarily something that's like, oh my gosh, I'm on the varsity floor, as it was in 8th grade when I started unexpectedly because of injury. But now it's just like, all right, let's get this done. Let's bring this win home. And it's like, it's normal now. There's nothing necessarily different or special about it.
I'll never forget that first year on varsity. Isa and I know each other, full disclosure. If you've watched my high school games, I've covered several games of Isa's. And I'll never forget you taking exception to my remark about your statistical production as an 8th grader. I think you said something along the lines of, if I said you were a role player who doesn't score much anymore, you were going to show me what you're made of.
Yeah, 8th grade was a little rough for us. At Minnehaha in 8th grade, we had several people go down with injury, especially a couple of our starters, Angel Hill and Anaya Rubin. And we had 2 new people. We had 2 8th graders and a bunch of underclassmen starting off, and it was rough, but throughout the rest of that season, we came together as a family, and we got 4th that year, I think.
Well, you do have a couple state semifinal appearances and then a national AAU championship as we get underway here. Foul, and Latrell Love will be going to the line. So just a few seconds in, we've got free throws. I hope they're not trying to recreate the ending of Game 4 last night.
They only have 6. They don't have that much flexibility.
What was that about flexibility?
Grand Rapids only has 6 people. They don't have
Oh, you're right.
enough people to give with fouls.
Okay, I thought you were talking about something with Grand Rapids and their jerseys.
Oh, no.
Sound does carry in this gym, but
Yeah.
we'll see how that comes into effect. Chicago brought a pretty good contingent with them in the season opener. Minnesota 1-1, Grand Rapids 2-0.
Damn.
Love splits at the line. It's early, and a reminder, we play with pro rules, but since we're at a high school, the high school line will be the three-point line. Although, it's interesting, Issa, it's a bit of an inverse. Here's a 3. Bullseye.
Boom.
Sean Scott off the quick feed. When you play in colleges, as you have for invites, this is turning into a three-point parade. Nesby drops the triple. But a lot of high school athletes will treat the college line as the three-point line.
One.
And I guess we're just going to shoot three-pointers all day. Issa, I hope you've been working on your shot.
Oh, I have. Every day.
So it's 7-3 following the flurry of triples.
Oh, I thought I was going to shoot it.
But again, with the high school line being the one in use, and there's another one. It's Nesby again. I wonder if that makes it easier for these athletes who've been around the game for a long time. Love,
nice
spin move.
9-6.
Another 3. All right, they're human after all. 9-6 in the first 90 seconds.
Oh my gosh. If that would have went in.
Love muscling for the rebound.
That
Runs
was
into a
interesting.
wall. You know what that's like.
Yeah. Why didn't he shoot it?
Extra pass.
No.
Drew the foul. Issa, sometimes, I'm going to say you know this because you played it. I feel like I'm going to reference your playing career more than once here. You'll get an open look, but sometimes you might use that to bait your defense into a better shot down low, or I should say a higher percentage shot.
Yeah. Sometimes the first shot's just the better shot. Because the defense has time to recover if you try and go somewhere else.
Yes, I've said that you'll never be more open than when you first receive a pass, but sometimes you get so open you're like, all right, maybe you try to bait that defense. It's a bit like a hard count in football where you try to get the defense to jump. I wonder if sometimes, maybe you've done that too, you're trying to get them to jump to get yourself a high-low look or maybe a driving lane to go through.
Correct.
Sam Taylor splits at the line. That makes it 9-7 with just about 10 minutes, and the clock is frozen. There we go. This is Saba. He had 23 in the season opener. Again, Bulldogs.
What kind of defense are they playing? Are they playing zone?
Perhaps, but that's one way to break it.
Right.
Scott
In and out.
drains his second 3. We were talking about the importance of a good start. Minnesota, I'd say, is off to one here.
Yep.
And like you said, with Grand Rapids,
Good.
oh boy, look out.
Make it
Ooh. Lynx fans know that all too well from games 3 and 4.
I was so mad yesterday. It was terrible. My mom and I were yelling at the screen and each other. It was getting really bad. Dang it.
Cope with an angry take to the rim. He'll shoot 2.
I feel like Minnesota right here has a little bit more time, and I availability to give those fouls, unlike Grand Rapids.
Well, and it reminds me of AAU tournaments that I've covered where sometimes you only have 6-7 players available either due to injury or other commitments. So that will put an emphasis on playing mistake-free basketball on the part of Grand Rapids. But remember, they are 2-0. And we're not talking about first-timers here. We're talking about seasoned pros. So I think they understand what's at stake.
Yep.
Love, doubled, kicks out,
Oh my
Saba,
gosh.
3.
Bang!
Saba with a couple of trays, 15-8 Minnesota, knocking down threes and taking names.
Good defense.
Cope,
No! I don't agree with that call.
that's a tough one, but I go back to what Rebecca Lobo said last night. If you're the aggressor, you sometimes get the benefit of the doubt.
I guess.
I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying, Cope, and I'm guessing you've picked up your share of foul calls that way too. If you're the aggressor, don't play passive, play assertive, and sometimes it works in your favor.
What? Okay.
I think Minnesota wants to see somebody.
Who?
I think number 4 is trying to get in. Saba's 3 in and out.
Varian?
15-10. Taylor, bounce pass.
Shoot
Nesby
it.
fakes the 3.
Okay, shoot that one. Nice shot. Rebound.
You're turning into a coach out there. I feel like you're yelling at another screen.
Yep.
Grand
I do
Rapids.
that with every team I'm on. I'm always coaching or heckling, basically, from the sidelines, even when I'm on the floor.
I've heard you don't even spare yourself.
Oh, no. Never.
I've told your mom this. I seriously would love to do a film review session with you as we get a missed long two from the part of Sean Scott. Still 15-10.
I don't know how clean my mouth would be if we watched myself play. I don't know.
I've
how
got a
well
few
that would
bleep
be.
buttons. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you look foolish or unflattering. I've already got that covered. As long as I'm around, I'm the fool. No one else. You'll be the star. Outlet pass.
Good pass.
Love up to 5 points. Minnesota, I think, has that transition game a little more down pat. Behind the back pass, another open 3.
Their
In and out.
defensive rotation's also really good compared to what Grand Rapids is showing right now. That was a pretty good example, actually.
Well, we're getting some good looks. Both
Yeah.
teams finding those open 3-point lanes.
Pass.
Now Grand Rapids turns on the Jets. And Nesby, he's got a quick 8. 7:05 to go. Again, we play with pro rules, so we do have a 24-second shot clock. Love looking to
Take a
muscle
charge.
his way. He can't get the bounce. Rebound knocked over to Saba.
Oh, that was a good shot.
Foul before the shot. But points for trying.
Right?
Saba.
At least he threw it up there.
That is Dekai Hines checking in. Dekai and Decoy, twin brothers. They both played at Minneapolis North with Larry McKenzie. Of course, Minneapolis North, you know a thing or two about
Yep.
their
Maybe
legacy.
just a couple things.
Just a couple?
Good take. Way more than a couple, but
Sean Scott, he knows a thing or two about attacking the lane. Minnesota, their
Defense.
offense clicking. That's DeAndre Jones.
oh my gosh.
Look out. We've got a
Oh.
pile up. Minnesota looking to clean up the mess,
ouch.
and they will get free throws here. Sean Scott steers the ship. And to follow up on the reference I'm making, Issa, I heard last year when she does film review sessions of her past games, she likes to yell at herself if she thinks she didn't execute a play the way she was supposed to.
Yeah.
That's the rumor I've heard. That's the rumor I've
true.
heard.
It's not a rumor. It's true.
Well, Sean Scott, I don't think he'll be yelling at himself, not with his first quarter performance, or if he does, he's going to be yelling with pride. He's got 10. Minnesota up 21-12.
I feel like Minnesota's been playing good collectively as well.
Cope. Tough look. Minnesota all over him. But the hesitation move pays off for Nesby. He has been the catalyst, the engine to keep Grand Rapids humming for the time being.
Foul on Scott, I think, with that one. Not sure about that call.
Nesby completes the three-point play. He's got 11 of Grand Rapids' 14 points. Unofficially.
Oh. Play some defense.
Harvey with the snatch. Cope. Drive and kick. Three ball. Corner pocket.
Another one.
Sam Taylor. And Grand Rapids will take a timeout here with 5:30 to go. Issa, your thoughts in the opening minutes of this tilt?
I feel like Minnesota came out strong, like we mentioned before, how they need to come with a good energy, need to be together, act like a family, and they're clearly showing that right now on both offensive and defensive sides of the floor. I feel like Grand Rapids needs to figure out their defensive rotation just a little bit. I feel like it's a little off, but they also have 6. They might be tired, but if they're tired, they got to slow it down. Don't just throw up shots. Be more, like, facilitate a little bit more. But otherwise, I feel like the game's going pretty well.
If they're tired after only 6.5 minutes,
I don't know.
I was going to say,
You never know.
I mean, I would be tired, but that's in general. Now, we did have a little fun with your film review tendencies or habits. I am curious, Issa, what have you enjoyed most? I know you've gone through some ups and downs. You went from, I think, 7th grade traveling to 8th grade varsity and have gotten a lot out of it, even if the numbers don't show it. Minnesota.
That was a nice shot.
Well, I'll finish that question in a moment. Minnesota hustling. Shot clock resets to 14.
Just move your arm.
But what have you enjoyed most about?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, things getting a little chippy out there.
Altercation.
This is what happens when I try to weave a conversation. But what have you enjoyed most about being an athlete, getting that chance to play? Again, you may not be the biggest scorer in your class or the biggest name, but I've seen a lot of the friendships you've cultivated with the Stars and now Metro Stars. That would be something if you could win the championship for the other 3 SSB team. But I see you've had a lot of fun.
I have. I've made a lot of friends. Really, I've made a lot of longtime friends. I feel like some of the people I met, like for example today, are chosen family. You know, I've created a relationship with her where I can trust her with anything, and I can go to her with any problem or any issue I have in my personal life, and she'll understand and she'll be there for me. And I also feel like basketball and other sports have taught me many life lessons and made me a better person and helped me through challenges in my life as well.
Right now, we still have a conversation between the Grand Rapids coach and the officials. Issa, as you noted, things were getting a little chippy on this end of the floor, and it seems tensions are still hovering up there.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I don't know why they're becoming aggressive. And I wonder who the call's going to go against.
Well, the officials are saying, hey, let's get back to action here.
Right.
You'll see this sometimes at the high school level, too. Most officials will give coaches a little leeway, but at some point,
Right.
you got to play on. And I think the officials are saying, hey, let's go here. I didn't see what led to it.
Two players got tied up a little bit and started becoming a little pushy with each other.
Right. And the Grand Rapids coach is still going at it. Now we have another stoppage here to reset the shot clock.
Oh my goodness.
This is an adult league, Isa.
Yeah, I forget that sometimes.
Although I have heard at high school events, it can get pretty intense there too. Dekai Hines missing the 15-footer. Let's see if we can get back to some basketball here and get back to action. Foul on the double.
Who's that on? Who's that on?
It looked like Scott. E.J. Haymore also in the game.
Oh my gosh. How is this? Okay.
Nesby bounce pass into
Nice.
traffic. 8 to shoot. Deep three.
Oh wow.
Rebound Haymore. Scott used up the dribble. Parker. 3-second call.
Interesting. I forgot that was a thing.
It's one of the less commonly called circumstances. They do have it at the high school level too. But with how quick the game moves, you don't see a 3-second call that often. Usually once or twice, that's it.
And it's when they're watching you. Because when I was playing post last year, my freshman year, I never got a 3-second call and I would just sit there. I never got a call.
Are you sure you should be revealing those secrets?
I mean, I'm not playing post now.
I'm saying now officials might still be looking for you if they move, if you have to take that spot or something. 6 to shoot for the Fusion. Another touch three. Grand Rapids trying to make that outside shot work, and I was a little intrigued by that because I thought Lamont Cope had broke free getting through that double. Minnesota can't answer, at least not yet.
Oh, wow.
And a traveling call. Sean Scott jumped with the ball, came back down, and that's a travel.
Timeout? Timeout, Minnesota.
Timeout, Minnesota. Maybe that'll give us a moment to catch our breath and settle things down. 3:48 left in the first. And now it's Minnesota's turn to get animated. Sean Scott having a chat with the
upset.
official.
Just a little bit upset.
I've heard this is no different than watching games of the Griefenhagen household and from what we already have talked about. Except
Games in
you're
our
just yelling
house.
at a TV.
Right. Games in our household get really loud. Doesn't matter what sport it is. We could be watching soccer and it'll get loud.
Well, that's right. You have played soccer. Are you going to keep playing soccer at De La Salle? Or?
I plan on it, but, you know, that's a whole nother year. Soccer season just ended.
It is a bit early, yeah. I'm just saying you might have to find a new dancing partner because you and Sine were buddies over at Minnehaha, unless Sine is moved over to Metro Stars with you, but
Oh, no.
she's still with... Well, you're going to have some friendly rivalries next year, Isa. I hope you're ready because there are going to be some players that are eager to catch up, say hello, and then try to find a way to beat you.
Correct. What is going on?
We've had
There's so many stops
quite a
in
few
play.
adventures here. Well, now I see the score 2018. I thought it was 21.
It was 21. I don't know what happened.
So it's 2018. That's not what I had on the stat sheet. I got 21.
I thought it was 21.
That's what I've got on the score sheet here, adding up all the points. The
Oh,
defensive
wow.
intensity really kicking up a notch, Isa. Parker, 3, grazes iron. Haymore, nobody on him, so he could track it down. Shot clock again goes to 14 on a no board.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Very scrappy. 2.
Early on, these two couldn't miss. Right now, these two are having a tough time finding the basket. Until that play, Haymore with the flip to Terrell Clark, who flips it up and in. That's what I call a tough touch shot. And then Nesby with a quick response. Unofficially, Nesby's got 13. It's 22-20. I guess that's what we'll go with on the scoreboard, even though I think they're off by a point. But Terrell Clark is the opposite of off right now. He has a couple of field goals already. Nesby.
Oh, my God.
Right idea, but a mishandled pass took away an open look down low, but it's still Grand Rapids ball. Touch three. That three-point shot hasn't been there, but the second chance effort is. DeAndre Jones is on the board.
Where's half their team?
Well, this is Grand Rapids, Michigan, so
yeah, I forgot about that.
I wonder if travel played a part. Not the Grand Rapids you're probably thinking of.
Probably not. It's okay, though.
Well, there's a Minneapolis in Kansas, so it all...
Really?
Yeah, there are duplicate cities. I know there's an Osseo in Wisconsin.
Minneapolis and Kansas is kind of crazy, though.
Haymore. Talk about crazy. That is a deep three, even from NBA range. That's an Ionescu Caitlin Clark range three. Closing minutes of the first. Cope. Through traffic. Minnesota standing tall. They've got numbers. Outlet. Hines. Finish.
Nice.
Minnesota playing for the steal. Now Grand Rapids has numbers.
Shoot it.
That's what Cope does. But the three-point stroke not panning out as of late for the Fusion. Touch three.
Okay.
Scott trails his own miss. Haymore. Woo, threw it into traffic. Grand Rapids takes a stroll.
My gosh.
Sam Taylor maybe a little too casual with it. Minnesota can hold for the last shot effectively. There is a 2-second different shot clock to game clock. Got to get it across the timeline, of course, and they do. Another strip.
Sam Taylor Hines with the too small celebration with that one on the fast
Nesby.
break.
Oh. Grand Rapids has time, but a foul as Jones collected the rebound. 7.4. You said Grand Rapids may not have numbers on their side, but they've got scrappiness right now.
Helping them out a little bit, making Minnesota a little bit mad.
Of course, there's still 3 more quarters to go. Clock is frozen. There we go. Cope.
3, 2.
Everyone counting down. They won't get a shot off. That's the end of the first, 29-24. That was a wild first quarter.
I know. Felt really long, actually.
Mic'd Up Sports is TSP Television's talk show series. Available on all major podcast platforms, we offer sports figures, past and present, a place to convey stories and adventures on a deeper level than our traditional game coverage. Whether you're a superstar athlete or someone who works behind the scenes, we'd be honored to share your story. If you'd like to be a guest, contact us at The Mike Peden on all major social platforms.
Nesby, step back 3.
Nice.
Gets the Plinko bounce. No, they call it a 2. Nope.
Oh, new lineup for the second quarter.
PA said 2, but I see 3 in the scoreboard. So I'm going to count it a 3.
Yeah. Nice.
Sabah says right back at ya. Sabah had been quiet at the end of the first. Again, he didn't play a ton of time, but speaking volumes here. Rohan, 3, just grazes the front of the iron.
2 players this quarter. Number
Sabah.
6, Armani Scott. number 4. Marion Williams.
Grand Rapids foul, 32-27. Ooh. Rowan just got teed up. He punched one of the chairs on his way back to the bench, and that's a no-no.
Well, I want to hear what the rest say.
Well, at this level, let's just say there's that family connection you spoke of, the chosen family element. So some of the folks who made the trek out here to Ramsey, they know the officials. So the technical free throw, I almost tongue-tied myself. The technical free throw is converted. Sabah working off the screen.
Oh.
And ball goes, whee! It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. I'm sure you've never had that happen where you threw an errant pass because of a miscommunicated route.
Oh, no, I have.
Lamont Cope sinks a 3.
I want to know how that technical foul affects him. Is he going to be able to get back in or no?
Armani Scott following through for the putback. Grand Rapids nearly lost it. Bounce pass 3.
He's a lefty.
Off the back iron. Grand Rapids committed to that 3 ball. Cope.
Why?
Took a moment. Another O board. Cope will try again. Long. Issa, I do wonder if Grand Rapids will live or die by that 3. It's a 4-point game, but
It looks like that's all they can really get up right now.
Minnesota looking for one. Grand Rapids outlet. The touchdown pass is there, and the finish for Sam Taylor. He's got 8. 3 balls and transition looks have kept Grand Rapids in this. Some heady defense, too. Late in the first, they picked up a few steals up top. Now Cope for the lead. Yes!
Nice!
Or as some would say, nothing but the bottom of the net. What do they tell you, though, Issa? Best way to get out of a funk, keep shooting. And the looks are there for Grand Rapids. More often than not, I haven't seen them. Well, there's a foul. More often than not, I haven't seen them throw up a bunch of wild shots. I am a little mesmerized, surprised at how intense this game is.
Yeah.
I've covered a lot of high school games in my 18 years, and there have been some moments, but I don't think I've ever seen you or anyone else get that into it like that. Traveling call on Love. But it's a different beast out there when you're on the court versus watching it.
When you're on the court, it's life or death at that point.
Oh, I don't know if it would be that.
Oh, it's serious.
I mean,
it's serious.
I know it's serious, but I don't want to be talking about you in past tense yet. Touch 3. Offline.
Rebound for number 4, Kavarian Williams.
Minnesota.
Nice. Never mind.
3 is long. Again, though, it's hard to complain when you're taking solid looks. Cope did have Parker in his face. We're seeing a lot of quick shots, Issa, though. Not a whole lot of set plays.
Minnesota got to slow it down a little bit, especially returning the ball over a little bit. That's how we're going to lose this game.
Well, Grand Rapids is pouncing. Their perimeter defense giving them a 37-34 lead.
This is how teams get away. Sloppy offense.
Minnesota's got to watch that top.
Lefty. Never mind.
Rebound.
Go up right away.
Little too strong. Even though it didn't work out, I did like that set for Minnesota. Swung it around, take care of the ball. Grand Rapids, oh my. Those are the bunnies you really want to have. Sidearm sling, extra pass.
Nice.
And the Plinko bounce for Parker.
We are now tied, back at 37-37.
Nesby.
Charge. I like that. I wanted the charge.
You're getting into it, I can tell. Grand Rapids, again, they are pushing the ball. And you might not expect that with only 6 players. Love. Turn around, can't get the bounce.
Oh.
Let's see if Grand Rapids pushes again. Minnesota reads it. Parker left alone, fires a 3, bullseye.
Oh. Panthers up by 1, 30-39. Not the Panthers, Minnesota. It says Panthers on the scoreboard.
Yes, that's right. Remember, we are playing at PACT. Minnesota, they're the Bulldogs, but I'm sure you could call them whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
But those last couple of sets for Minnesota, I feel when they can be mindful of the Grand Rapids defense up top, we see them swing the ball around. They can get open looks. They just got to watch out for those lead guards.
Those guards are really giving them a hard time on the perimeter with that scrappy defense causing turnovers. Since they're so low, they're right next to the ball. It's easy for them to get it.
And on the Grand Rapids side, I don't want to say they have the upper hand, but I'm a little surprised they're playing this fast with just 6 players. I might think they'd want to slow down, conserve energy, but I guess they're going to go for broke in a sense.
Yeah.
They're not going to lay back.
Correct.
Grand Rapids 2-0. Still in the early stages of the NBL season. The runner is there for Nesby. And Nesby's got 20 points.
Nice.
Sabah on the other end. Nesby finds Taylor. Jones broke free. Grand Rapids looking for that 3-point look. Taylor short. Rebound tipped to Minnesota on the dead ball. Parker. The 3.
Ooh.
(42-41). 3 balls short. Contact. Replay on.
That was interesting.
Love.
Layup
with
for
the
Love.
finish. I love the headiness of Love, though. Contact, nothing called, so he went down the other way. Led to the layup. Got to keep your head in the game, and what do they say, Issa? Play until that whistle?
Play until the whistle, yes. Boom.
What do we say about living and dying by the 3?
Never do it.
You wouldn't do it.
I hate it.
You hate it? You hate the 3 ball?
No, I hate living and dying by it. Shooting the 3 is fine, but if that's all you do, it'll kill you in the end. You can have one day when you're on, and the next day you're done for. If you live and die by the 3.
It's still a tight one, though. Minnesota bringing the pressure, and they get called for the foul on the double. 4:41 left in the second. 46-44. And Ethan Rowan will check in. Remember, Rowan got teed up when he was subbed out and then punched the chair.
Correct.
So I'm guessing he's going to be a little more cognizant.
Hopefully.
And emotions are a part of the game, so we don't want to ridicule him for that. How about Harvey?
That was
hustling for those rebounds. He'll go to line for 2, but it's tough. I've covered men's games and women's games where players get teed up. Emotions are part of the game. Let's see what Harvey does. Has yet to get on the board in a tight contest. Here at Packed Charter School. There are 2 campuses.
I went to the wrong one.
You probably weren't the only one. Not all that different from White Bear Lake until the 2 campuses became one this year. Sabah with the handoff.
Hey!
Kavarian Williams, pure. Nesby to Harvey. Kick out, Nesby fakes. Cope, side fade. Bullseye.
Nice.
And a little more of that extracurricular. I guess rivalries extend to this circuit too. I know there's some big high school ones. There is Love the long 2. Not quite.
Interesting choice.
Grand Rapids wanted the timeout. They don't get it. Instead,
Hey!
Minnesota
Finally!
goes dunking.
I've been waiting for a dunk.
Minnesota was working on some alley-oops during the warm-ups. And
I've
some of
been
these
waiting
guys
for
have
one.
vertical. Cope,
He almost hit the split.
I think he was trying to draw the foul there. And
Oh.
timeout.
Timeout.
With 3:01 left. It's taking a while to get that signal to the players. 51-48. Neither side can pull away from each other. It's been back and forth all the way through. Minnesota with plenty of poise. Grand Rapids with plenty of grit. This is just neck and neck.
If Grand Rapids keeps getting mad, the ref's going to come back and get them. As we've seen, we've already had a technical for Grand Rapids. The refs are starting to not care.
And remember, they have just 6 players, so they can't afford to get in foul trouble. Of course, in the pro game, you are granted that extra foul compared to high school and college. But you still have to be watchful of that. I did not expect this to get so heated, though. You've got a lot of jawing and shouting. Not
Oh, the cameraman.
a lot of, well,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
not on. 3:01 left. And we still have a second half to go here.
Oh, my goodness.
Minnesota, they've been doing it with depth. Cope,
No, that was not a foul.
well, I'm not a fan of that when players try to lean into it. As Minnesota, shot clock didn't reset.
I need to figure it out. Defense are they playing? Are they in a 2-3?
Looks that way. And Minnesota
did
just
not
drives
work.
it in their face. Usually a zone defense would take away a driving lane, but
Right. I don't
Terrell
think they
Clark
were-
fearless.
I don't think they were set up.
Well, that's the thing. It only works if you're set up properly.
Correct.
Minnesota up by 6. Cope fires. Good defense by Minnesota there. Sabah,
Bang, bang. Never mind.
Rowan with the alley-oop, sort of.
I was hoping he would have dunked
It goes in, though. I always say it doesn't have to be flashy as long as it goes in. I know people love the dunks, but make those baskets count. Minnesota stepping into the three. Grand Rapids has a chance to tie or take the lead again. Stop me if you've heard that before. Again, neither side leading by more than 7. This is reminiscent of Game 4 last night and Game 3 as Nesby draws the foul on the take.
Varian Williams with the foul.
What is it about Nesby's game? He's got 22 points with 1:28 left, and a lot of his buckets have come during attacks.
I think he just gets out quick.
That first step can go a long way.
He turns the corner pretty well. That's what it seems like.
It's 54-53. Love looking to power his way in, cannot. Dead ball rebound to Grand Rapids. What did you learn last year? I know you had to go up against some pretty strong, sturdy post players. I'm guessing you picked up a few things on how to play that post.
Play offensively or play defensively?
I guess all around, Nesby draws the foul. But I was thinking about Love trying to work his way in there. Again, you had to play the post and try to defend yourself against the likes of Jordan Johnson and, well, you played Anoka, so you had that trio of Frecking, Deborah Ieni.
I love Deborah. Deborah was my teammate this summer. But offensively, I feel like I learned how to read, like how to use my shoulders a little bit more and use more of my body in the post to get the defender to think I'm going one way and go the other. I also learned how to notice where I am by the basket without looking at the basket. Like, my spatial awareness is a lot better now.
Well, and I was asking because of Love trying to work his way inside. We haven't seen too many post moves. 5 to shoot for Grand Rapids. Nesby. Jones gets it off. Airballs it. We'll play on, though. Under a minute in the quarter. Minnesota backs off. Fade away.
Good shot.
Issa, I think you would like this game. We're not seeing a ton of post plays, but the perimeter open for the taking. Taylor. Off the backboard. Shot clock off. Minnesota in trouble. And then a foul. That will give them a chance to reset.
What was the point of that?
Those are the toughest ones to take when you're, as we say, 80 feet away from the basket.
Right.
And I say 80 because we're playing at a high school venue.
Yeah.
College venue, a little different. So Minnesota has a chance to drop a big one. Ooh, now that's a new one. They got to reset the clock, I think. They started it, but you have to wait for someone to touch it, and I don't think the scores table realized it hadn't been touched yet. So we go back to 12.2. Now you can run it. And speaking of running, Minnesota. Whoa, that was close. Touch 3. Long. And that will be it.
Halftime.
56-53, Minnesota up at the half. Issa, well, we get a little halftime chitter-chatter.
I don't even know.
Halftime chit-chat.
They keep just going back and forth. That makes no sense.
Hey, we've got a halftime here, but Issa, your thoughts as we go into the halftime break?
For Minnesota, I feel like we're doing really well. I feel like we don't need to shoot as many threes. We can slow it down a little bit, we can be more facilitated and be more structured, because just throwing up threes is giving Grand Rapids the opportunity to run out and get fast breaks. For Grand Rapids, they also need to be a little bit more structured and calm down a little bit. They're getting a little hot-headed when it comes to some of the calls that aren't being called or that are being called.
So we'll take a break and come back with the second half in this battle of division rivals. You're watching NBL basketball on TSB television.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Mike Peden and Issa Griefenhagen with you at Packed Charter School in Ramsey. Second half about to start between Grand Rapids and Minnesota in the Maximum Basketball League. First half numbers: Grand Rapids, Darren Nesby, 23 points. Lamont Cope, 15. Sam Taylor with 8. Minnesota, they've been getting it done all around. Elijah Sabah with 13 points. Sean Scott with 12. Parker didn't score in the second, but he's got 7. Terrell Clark, 8 off the bench. But Issa, we're looking at a 56-53 score and a lot of heightened emotions between these two. What adjustments would you like to see in the second half? We saw Grand Rapids mix up some threes in transition play. Minnesota getting an edge, I feel, down low in second chances. What should we look for here?
I feel like both teams need to be a little bit more structured on the defensive end of the floor, especially Grand Rapids, since they're a little bit smaller than Minnesota, roster-wise and height-wise. But I feel like if they do that, both teams will be all right.
Well, Grand Rapids gets the ball to start the second. Remember, they only have 6 players. Minnesota, the full contingent.
Running a couple screens for a 3.
The three-point game was working early for the two sides, and it's been off and on, as you would expect for any three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Even Caitlin Clark.
Body to the rim.
Now, that we haven't seen as much of.
Yeah.
Post presence. Sabah lays it in. And continuing what we discussed in the first half, Issa, as you got a first-person example of, Taylor's 3 is there. Working the post is a whole lot different than playing the guard position, which is your natural spot.
Right.
Minnesota looking for the runner. They don't get it. Cope.
Grand Rapids seems to be running a couple screens just to get outside shots right now.
It's been working out for them more often than not. Deep 3. Swish.
Oh, my goodness.
Sam Taylor with back-to-back triples to start the second half. Sabah, spin move, feeds it to Love. Love scrapping again.
Rebounds.
Again. Tough break there, Issa. Love had a couple of looks point-blank range. Taylor's 3 off the back iron. Minnesota gets a reprieve, but it always irritates me a bit when you've got 2 or 3 open looks down low and you can't convert. You never know when you might need them.
I feel like that's what Grand Rapids can't do. They just can't throw up shots. I feel like that'll throw the game away, especially if they're not making all of them.
And they got to be mindful again of the foul tally. Now, they're not keeping track of it on the board, but when you only have 6 players.
Right.
Sabah to the line. Has played overseas, including Italy. Played at Spring Lake Park back in high school and has some college experience. And that's the thing. A lot of these athletes, again, played at the high school, college level. Maybe they weren't the superstars of their teams. But Sabah, he's been a regular in the NBL circuit back when it was known as the Midwest Basketball League. He's up to 17. Cope.
A little bit of a situation is what it looked like.
And then Minnesota with the sneak attack from behind.
Or elevator screen in that last play.
Minnesota can't rise up on the other end, though. Again, those missed layups nearly hurt Minnesota last night. The Lynx, that is. Late foul.
Down low.
And Sean Scott taking exception. And as you've been noticing, Issa, Grand Rapids running screens again to try to set up those three-point looks. They've got some players who can work inside too. Admittedly, this is the first time I've seen Grand Rapids, so I don't know a whole lot about their tendencies.
Yeah. Seems to be some of their tendencies are setting a lot of screens, getting open shots, and being scrappy on defense.
We did see.
What's wrong with the clock?
All right, I was going to say in the first half we did see Minnesota throw a few doubles at Grand Rapids, and so the screens might be an adjustment to account for that. Love has one-on-one coverage, and he'll get the leaner this time. Nesby inside. Harvey, yes. CJ Parker converts on the other end. 64-63. Issa, this game remains tight.
Yep. Another screen. Roll. Trying to set up that pick and roll game right now. So it seems like.
Minnesota running the high-low.
I think that's what Grand Rapids is trying to execute, the high-low or even the pick and roll, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Scott with 14. Minnesota got the early jump, but it has been neck and neck ever since. Taylor, elbow J. Now that's an awkward position to be in. Sabah tried to take it himself and was stripped away. And then Love with, I'd say, an ill-advised foul there. I know you're looking for the stop, but I'd say in that situation, get back. Don't make those fouls.
Right.
7:48 left in the third. Minnesota takes a timeout. When the high school season is over, TSP Television goes on the highlight trail. Our highlight reels provide you with a valuable resource for recruiters and a keepsake of your favorite athlete. To learn more about our highlight reel services, contact us at tsptelevision@gmail.com.
Well, for Minnesota, I'm curious who might step up, or they might do it by committee. Sabah's got 17. I feel like he is going to be the person to take those leadership reins. It reminds me of the game with Chicago where he stepped in after there was some turmoil earlier in the contest. And Minnesota, even though the score didn't reflect it, they were in contention against Chicago, a former league champion, up until the fourth quarter. The Legends, that is.
Seems like it could be a ghost screen, what they tried doing just now.
Instead, Minnesota,
Threw it off the backboard there a little bit.
they've had some trouble with those finishes, but they're becoming more cognizant, more attentive. Was it a clock issue again?
Seems to be.
I didn't see anything else. I didn't see a foul call.
Number 3, Terrell Clark in for Minnesota.
I heard the official yelling side out. Love is going to head over this. Oh, I see.
Oh.
Okay, so it was a safety timeout. Love is, he's got to go get that patched up. Issa, I don't think any basketball player is immune to a battle scar or two. Oh, my
Nice
goodness.
spin move
Parker.
up for the right hand on the left side.
Slam that spin button. Slam that B button. I don't know what button you use for a spin move in those sports games, but that's what I felt like Parker did.
Right. Grand Rapids trying to hit them with one down low. Didn't seem to work.
So Love, who was walking by us, got a cut near his eye. Obviously, you can't play with that. That was the stoppage. Parker waking up after a quiet second quarter. And as he goes to the line, well, Issa, you know a thing or two about taking one for the team. I remember catching up with you at Gus Smacker when that event returned. And you showed off your broken nail
Oh, yeah.
in that 3-on-3. I forgot what your team name was called.
I don't think we were called anything.
I know you had a theme because it was yourself, Mia Hernandez, Analea Salanoa, and I forget who the fourth one was.
Angie, I don't know her last name, but she goes to Tartan with Mia because Analea had a conflict the second day that randomly came up and we needed another player. So she just called her friend and...
Look out. All right,
Oh.
that's still good for 2. But C.J. Parker taking command here as Minnesota builds their lead to 9. Rohan's 3.
Missed rebound.
Off the iron. Minnesota trying to draw the charge.
Both teams seem to be getting a little bit loose with the ball right now.
Now, what was that like, Issa, playing on asphalt? Was that the first time you played on asphalt?
It's not the first time, and it hopefully it's the last time.
First time in a long time.
I hate playing on concrete. It's absolutely terrible.
Well, her team had a theme. If you remember Gus Smacker from August, everyone could wear their own jerseys. You had some custom designs, jerseys or T-shirts, and yours, highlighted the fact that all of your players had Latin heritage or
Correct.
Mexican heritage
Correct.
in some way, shape, or form.
It did. We had Mexican and American flags on our shirt.
Well, I know your family's background, and
Yeah.
I guess I learned I didn't know about Analea, and that's not something I go asking players.
Right.
Hey, where is your family tree? Where does that extend to? Mia Hernandez, I remember her from Stars and at Tartan, and then Angie, I don't remember her. I'd have to look up the Tartan roster again. Grand Rapids trying to look up a 3. This could be that point of separation for the Bulldogs.
I hope it is. If they keep up this aggressiveness.
Okay.
Like right then, got right past both players. If they keep that up, they keep up the good defense, they'll be all right.
Action getting a little more helter-skelter.
That's what they need to keep doing. That's what they need to keep doing.
I feel if Minnesota can knock down more of those layups, again, it reminds me of games 3 and 4 of the WNBA Finals. You make your layups, that will go a long way. Cope trying to shake off his coverage, and he flips in the lob. Cope with
A
17.
little bit of chitter chatter right there.
It looks to be a little less heated between Cope and number 23, Sean Scott.
In and out pass between number 1.
That's Terrell Clark. He's got 10 off the bench.
Seems to be that their bench players are helping a lot right now, this game.
And this is a point
Next,
that we thought might come into play. Harvey knocks down the 17-footer. Remember, Minnesota's got more reserves available.
Tried the high-low pass, didn't seem to work.
Instead, Grand Rapids will drain the reverse on the fast break, and Minnesota's going to take a timeout. 76-69. I got to give credit to these officials, making sure things don't get too out of control. They are not hesitant to step in.
Right.
I know people don't root for the officials. They're the group everyone loves to hate during a game, but they've done a solid job making sure these two don't get into anything crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what they're there for. You know, we may not always agree with the calls, but they're playing traffic cop, basically. But, Issa, you were talking about Minnesota's bench play, and this is where I was wondering, you know, later in the game if that would come into play. It's tough because you never know how stamina will play out.
Right.
Take game 1. I know I keep referencing the WNBA Finals, but, you know, the NBA hasn't started yet.
Right.
That's why, but we all thought Minnesota, the Lynx, were going to be tired, and then they squeak one out in overtime. Grand Rapids giving up a run here as of late. And I think part of that is Minnesota getting some looks to fall and getting a few more of those layups, short-range looks to go in.
I feel like they need to keep that up and not necessarily worry about start doing the flashy things, because if they try and be flashy and look all nice, I feel like Grand Rapids is going to come back.
Now, how tricky, how challenging, what is the art to it? Because you've been down there, and I know you've played on many games where your teammates do the same thing. What is the key to being consistent with those looks down low?
Well, sometimes you got to switch it up. You got to hit different people in different spots, and then you can keep going back to that same spot. Like, for example,
I was thinking more about finishing, like when you have the ball, when you're taking a short-range look.
Like, I feel
When you're
like,
down there, how do you make sure you're on point?
Oh, I thought you were asking like post player stuff.
Not just post players, anybody like that. I guess going in from the baseline helps too.
Yeah.
You can bring that momentum with you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the same answer. Coming in from different spots on the floor racks up like what the defense thinks you're gonna do. It gives them more options and more. It makes you more unpredictable if you're coming from different spots and going through different people on the floor.
And I was looking at it more from body mechanics, so you certainly
Right.
bring up some good points. Because when we see teams at this level, pros, missing layups, you're thinking to yourself, well, how could you, like, what the heck? How could you miss that? We're going to have free throws here for Harvey. But on your end, you know, when it comes to mechanics, how do you make sure you put yourself in position to knock down those layups and not miss those bunnies?
What I learned last year playing a post player, you always have to square your feet. Not necessarily always, but it helps with your accuracy and your consistency if you square your feet and if you jump into the basket, if you're jumping up and towards the basket and not shying away from any contact, but more so throwing your body into the contact to throw the defender off.
Lean into that momentum.
Yes.
Harvey splits at the line. Grand Rapids 10 of 14. Minnesota 9 of 10. They were struggling from the free throw line in the home opener, the season opener, that is. Faring better here, and they're
Nice
faring
shot.
even better still.
Quick pass for a fadeaway three. It was nice.
Nesby with the answer.
Right back at us.
Minnesota with their largest lead. They'll try to extend it on the outlet. Sabah can't stay in bounds. You were talking about scoring your feet, but not always having to do that. In my head, this is the contrarian in me. I'm thinking, do you triangle your feet? Do you pentagon?
You make your feet.
I'm being silly. I know what you meant, but I could not resist. Minnesota with the steal and the layup. This may be that difference-making run for Minnesota.
And this is what Grand Rapids can't do. They can't get mad and start. Like, I understand getting mad in the sense where you're going to score, but hitting the floor or hitting a chair.
You can't get too frustrated, you're right. There's still 15 minutes of game time left.
Correct.
3 on the way. Minnesota and Fuego. Sean Scott with 20. Three offline for the Fusion. Parker bottled up by Nesby. He'll draw the foul, and that will send him to the line. Well, I may have planted another idea in Issa's head here. Maybe, well, yes, sometime during the offseason or during a practice, we'll have Issa. I know what we can do. Go to your place and you can show us all these mechanics that you've learned from being a post and a guard. How to score your feet, how to lean into your body, let that momentum carry you forward.
Yeah.
But another player that comes to mind when it comes to using those body mechanics, that momentum, is Kendall McGee, who is taking up Fall League right now, missed an entire year of high school and AAU, missed 2 full years of AAU, actually, because of her knee injury. But she's someone who really knows how to use that body to create the momentum for those layups or draw fouls, as we saw in her last full season.
Yeah.
She's going to be a beast. Well, you're going to get to play her now that you're at De La Salle.
That'll be a good game.
That's one of the rivalry games. Along with Cretin-Durham Hall, who I think you're familiar with playing. You know, you're familiar with them too. Harvey's going to the line. Are you going to miss those rivalries with Providence, though? Because last year you got to play in front of a full house.
I think De La Salle plays Providence, actually. So, no, I won't miss it.
You won't miss it? Well,
I'll still be there to support and watch from the sides, though.
Harvey missing the front end. Minnesota up 89-72, their largest lead of the game. Well, they're going to be a little different now this year. Nesby gets the O-board. Parker got the deflection, and the second chance try not there, so empty possession. It's 88-72. The score was adjusted. So Minnesota up by 16, but it's still their largest lead of the game.
Minnesota can't afford to have unnecessary fouls and unnecessary shots. That'll take them out of this game.
And both teams in the bonus here, so every foul stops the clock. And we've seen comebacks before.
We sure have.
Minnesota in game 1. The Lynx came back from 15 down in the 4th to win it. The NBA, I've seen a few 20-point comebacks over my time as a fan. So it's not a done deal yet, but Minnesota, they were looking in great shape a moment ago. Grand Rapids trying to reel them in
and out
and one.
Rapids with the 3.
Lamont Cope pumped about that play. He's got 20, and this could be the pathway back, the ticket back for Grand Rapids.
Number 5, C.J. Parker trying to get his teammates ready for these free throws.
Well, it's just one for Cope, and he hits. Lamont Cope, 21 points. Had that big second quarter. Ian Nesby keeping Grand
A little bit
Rapids.
of a push-off.
Nothing
layup.
called. We play on.
Trying to set a
88-79.
screen.
Grand Rapids trail by 16. They've scored the last 7. Cope through traffic.
Foul down the ground.
That's what you're talking about, avoiding fouls here. That
Yeah.
gives Grand Rapids another trip to the line. Again, we play with the pro rules, so even though they're counting them up on the board, we play with the 4-foul limit. Colt missing the front end. Isa, when you're playing on a team that maybe doesn't have a deep bench, or you get into foul trouble and you have to go into those reserves, and how do you keep that energy going? Because Grand Rapids, for a moment, it looked like they were going to dissipate, but well, those missed free throws aren't helping here as of late.
Pass
Touch
from the
three.
top for the open 3.
Well, Minnesota gets a big one back on their side. 91-79.
Well, to answer your question about staying positive, I feel like it takes one player that doesn't necessarily worry about the small things to bring the team up.
Minnesota, they've been throwing a piece of Grand Rapids game in their face. Another steal and run out, cross
Long
court.
pass. 2 long passes.
Those long passes can be risky. Got to make sure you hit your spots. Deflection by Hines. Heady defense by Minnesota,
Yep.
who lead 93-79. A big third quarter. Really midway through the third is when the tenor of this game began to change.
Long pass for the 3. It's open.
It's Minnesota's turn to bury those threes. And that's not what you want. A foul. 22.8. Again, you don't want to give your opponent 3 chances at the line.
Right.
And the Grand Rapids coach, furious. Well, no, he's not furious. He's urging his team on. I thought he was the one who was upset. I'm like, wait a minute. Why would he be upset?
I don't know.
I'm reading too much into this. My mind's going everywhere. But Isa, this is a troubling stat. Grand Rapids, they were doing well at the free throw line, 9 of 12. They're 13 of 23. They've missed their last 5. And now Minnesota can hope for the last shot.
Screen action. Oh.
That was Terrell Clark. And now Minnesota will get a chance to hit some freebies.
Minnesota's bench having a little bit of fun.
Well, isn't that why everyone signed up for this game when they were little? I forgot when you played for the first time. Actually, I've never asked you, so how can I forget?
I started playing when I was in 4th grade.
I didn't even know who you were until your mom found me.
A little heated in this far end of the court.
Clock, there we go.
Open 3.
Good if it goes.
It's not good.
98-79, a big third quarter by Minnesota. And Isa, I'm adding this up. C.J. Parker had 16 points in the third. He had a goose egg in the second. And a big reason Minnesota's up by 19.
Mic'd Up Sports is TSP Television's talk show series. Available on all major podcast platforms, we offer sports figures, past and present, a place to convey stories and adventures on a deeper level than our traditional game coverage. Whether you're a superstar athlete or someone who works behind the scenes, we'd be honored to share your story. If you'd like to be a guest, contact us at @TheMikePeden on all major social platforms.
Touch 3. Bullseye. That is the third triple for Williams and Issa. It might be lights out here for Grand Rapids. Minnesota knocking down their threes. Another contested shot. Minnesota.
Long pass for the layup. The rebound, put back.
Decoy Hines. I feel that play sums up this second half more than anything. Minnesota just has that extra step, that extra pep, extra dose. But
Leads through play by number 11.
Darren Nesby. He's got 27 points,
Yeah.
and you don't pick up that many being hesitant, apprehensive.
Correct.
But it seems like Minnesota has been able to maintain their pace. Grand Rapids not getting some of the looks they did in the first half. Because remember, Grand Rapids and Minnesota had several lead changes in the first.
Yeah. Now it seems to be that Minnesota's kind of gone away with it a little bit. Let's just hope they can keep it.
103-81.
Turnover on our side for the open three, a fast break, and it's good.
That was pure with a capital P on the part of Sam Taylor, and this is what Grand Rapids needs. Get a couple of plays their way.
Quick little pass for a layup. Long
Minnesota.
pass, it's not good.
Minnesota just pounding the paint.
Yeah.
In transition, that is. Getting a lot of quick looks, a lot of cuts. They're looking quite fluid right now.
Yeah. I don't think Grand Rapids can afford to have as many turnovers as they've had so far in the first three quarters.
Well, 10:05 left. Grand Rapids running out of time. This is the fourth quarter.
Another layup, another putback. Not good.
Well, it's the fourth quarter, but according to the scoreboard, we have already hit the sixth quarter.
Yeah, didn't even know there were two more after that.
Taylor.
Long three.
And that might be a tinge of that desperation factor out of Grand Rapids.
Trying to gain the momentum.
Minnesota,
We already
another
got
three.
it. Another in and out play for Minnesota.
I love a good inside-outside
play.
game. Taylor buries another one.
That might be their momentum that they're looking for.
They're still down by 21, though.
You never know.
With a shot clock, especially a 24-second one, right. No lead is safe, but Minnesota just
Especially not after that.
attacking. They've got a little more agility.
Yeah.
Issa, I was looking at the notes here. Kavari and Williams, 12 points, all on three-pointers, and I think all from that same spot or in that wing position.
Interesting.
I don't know what your go-to move is, but I'm guessing for Williams, that's his. The sweet spot is that wing slot.
It's clearly working. It's kept their team up a little bit, trying to come back from 12, you said? 12 threes?
Well, 12 points on three-pointers.
12 points.
If he had 12 threes,
I was going to say.
if he had 12 threes, sign him up. Sign him up to a G League contract, maybe higher. Parker making both free throws. Do you have a go-to move when you're out there?
I really like the spin move. I haven't used it in a really long time, but I either use the spin move or...
Well, Minnesota's about
in and
to lay in.
14 for Kavarian Williams.
Williams with 14 off the bench, and I think Minnesota's got this one locked up. Bulldogs leading the Fusion 111-87.
It's nice to see that Minnesota kept their momentum even when they were down, and they didn't get down on each other or themselves. They stayed as a collective unit.
I think one thing that helped, they never got down by a lot. I think they trailed by 3. That was the largest deficit. But just nothing going in for Grand Rapids right now.
I think they're starting to get tired.
Now they're showing off.
Deep. Block.
Well, Rohan gets the block. Oh, Jones wasn't ready. Rohan beside himself, and Minnesota misses the layup. That's going to go in the not top 10, and then Taylor with the triple straight away. That's a 5-point swing, and even though Minnesota's up 111-90, number 14, Bryce Williams, getting some encouragement from Love, but he's it's not likely if we were to have win probabilities. I don't think it would be in favor of Grand Rapids right now, but that's a 5-point swing in favor of the Fusion. That could be crucial.
Yeah, it could. I think they're trying to get the momentum that they've been asking for.
111-90, Mike Peden and Isa Griefenhagen, or I guess I have also heard you go by Isabel Griefenhagen.
Isabel, yes.
Isabel. Yeah, I remember from the breakdown, because I memorize all those notes because I'm weird. I like the fun facts more than your points, but I think you said you pronounce it like you would in the Hispanic variant, so it wouldn't be Isabel, it's Isabel.
Yes. I feel like people are very shocked when they learn that about me, but I don't find it that strange.
You don't find it strange that that's not the strangest or the most unusual thing I've come across among players, is that I once heard of a player who collects Legos and eats ice cream with a fork and was deathly afraid of butterflies. I learned of a Maple Grove graduate now playing college ball, likes to play ladder ball.
Interesting.
I've come across some highly interesting factoids over the years about players. No, it is fun because I say this all the time. Did we have a technical foul? I guess we did during the timeout.
I don't know.
I didn't see it because you and I were chatting amongst ourselves. I guess that's what I get for not paying attention to the timeout huddles. So a technical foul during the timeout. And I don't know what happened because I didn't see anything going into the huddle that would suggest any
I don't
raging
really understand
tempers.
what happened.
So that makes it a 6-0 run for Grand Rapids, and they don't have a big lifeline, but that turns the deficit to 20.
Turnover.
Remember, Grand Rapids got a bunch up top.
Quick
Jones with the finish. 8-0 run, Isa, 111-93. It's getting a little more interesting here.
Yeah.
Williams, 3 is short. Grand Rapids.
This is what Minnesota can't do. Can't have silly mistakes for a turnover. Same thing for Grand Rapids if they're trying to come back in.
It puts an impetus on ball control. Minnesota's 3 in and out, but lots of players to help, and now 3 free throws coming on the foul by Nesby. Parker taking a hit. I don't know how many things grind a coach's gears, but I'd have to think fouling on a three-point shot is up there.
100%. Fouling out that far is just unnecessary, in my opinion, unless you're doing it in late game, like 20 seconds left, and fouling that far out's okay, just not on the shot.
We've got to clean up some wet spots on the floor. Well, we've had wet spots. We had Love get a cut. Now we've got Parker. Went scoreless in the second quarter. Since then, has scored 18 of his 25 points. And a big reason Minnesota turned a tight one into a big gain, as they are closing in on their second straight win. 2 more free throws coming for Parker. All 3 of those.
Grand Rapids from deep, and it's good.
It's Sam Taylor again. That's his 4th triple of the period, but will it be enough? 114.96. Parker.
Travel.
Grand Rapids.
Got it in quick for another 3.
Taylor,
That's
pure. Timeout, Minnesota. And for Sam Taylor, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triples in the 4th. Ha, 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 ha. As a certain numbers-loving Muppet would say. Sam Taylor, to say he's fired up would be an understatement. 15 points, 5 triples in the 4th.
Yep.
It's not done yet. Grand Rapids still has some work to do, but they were trailing big. It was 111-84. An 8-0 run cut into that. In fact, going back to that spot, it is a 15-3 run.
Yep.
And that does help things out here. Again, that makes it more manageable. What is it about Grand Rapids? They just won't go away.
I don't know. They really want this game.
Well, when you're hitting threes, we saw that from Minnesota a little while ago. When they're going in, big things can happen, no matter which team you're repping. But Grand Rapids trying to make a fight of this. After trailing by
pass to the corner.
Minnesota short, rebound, second chance opportunity. That was Reggie Rogers. Contact, foul, and one. Armani Scott, that is just his 2nd field goal. And this might seem silly to the uninitiated, even though Minnesota's up big, that still could be a big bucket. When you're trying to hang on for the finishes, the scoreboard might read a big win, but when you look at the context, the momentum opportunities, well, here's a big chance.
Oh.
And Minnesota lost it, so no 3-point play, but those are the kinds of buckets that can go a long way to closing out. You know, we love those and ones in a tight game, but when you're trying to hang on to a big lead, ooh, and that's not what you want if you're Minnesota. Because Grand Rapids goes to the line, they have a chance to stop the clock.
They can't let Grand Rapids gain their momentum back. There's still 6 minutes. 6 minutes is a lot of time.
Especially with a 24-second shot clock. How did you handle that, by the way, as Cope missed the front end? What do you like? What did you make of playing with the shot clock last year?
I found it helped with development as a player, and I found that it made it a little bit easier for us if we're losing late in the game. Players can't just dribble the ball out. I like the shot clock.
I was happy that I would never have to worry about stall ball again.
Foul on the ground. 3 Grand Rapids players run away after the call.
And you heard the VAR official saying side out. Isa, she knew. She was on top of it. What spot here, but yeah, I, yes, was not sad to see the previous format go.
I hated playing defense when they would stall. It was terrible.
Three on
Three
the way.
From the wing, not good.
Offline. Harvey snags the board.
Coming quick down the court, desperate for a shot. And it's not
Taylor
good.
had 5 threes, can't add another one.
Number 2 for the Bulldogs in.
Put back slam! Wubba, 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 whoa, 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 Armani Scott.
The Bulldogs up by 18.
That might go down as
A
play of the
three.
game. Taylor's
It's good.
3, pure. Sam Taylor, 32 points, 6 triples in the fourth. Scott again.
Another layup.
He had just 2 points up until this
Left
burst.
wide open.
Nesby now has 32, but Grand Rapids can't afford to trade buckets here. Minnesota looking for the transition 3. Williams!
And one.
And one. Issa, where have we seen that before? Does that remind you of anybody?
Just a little bit.
Did that remind you of any specific player?
I've seen it a multitude of times. One I do remember is this past state tournament for AAU. Presley Watkins, she hit one of those in the state championship.
Well, that is a good example. I do remember that play because I covered that state championship. I was thinking along the lines of Courtney Williams.
And that, yes.
Who made her 4-point play.
That game was a fever dream. I really don't.
But I forgot until you reminded me, Presley Watkins. I don't think she hit her free throw, though.
I don't recall. All I remember is it was an and 1-3.
No, I don't think so.
I think I left right
That
after she made the
that
three.
was an intense ending. I remember calling that one with D'Elia. Fury and North Tartan. Fury trailed by 17.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a shot clock in AAU, at least not in the state events. Fury came back from 17 down. Of course, AAU, you're not playing stall ball as much.
Yeah.
I think the objectives are slightly different. You still want to win your games, of course.
Yeah.
Williams completes the 3-point play, and Issa Williams, who had just 6 entering this frame, has 18. Minnesota, look at all the players who have stepped up.
With double-digit points.
Parker with 28, Scott with 20, Williams 18, Sabah 17. 124-105. Cope is taking a moment to gather himself, seated.
A little bit of a confusement between the coach and the refs.
And Cope trying to keep himself engaged.
Travel.
Under 5 to play, Minnesota.
A little weave through dribble for a floater, and it's good.
Cope making lemonade out of lemons. I thought he was in trouble. Parker, why not?
Wing, and it's good.
Bullseye. Parker with 31. And a monstrous second half for CJ. Harvey.
And a foul.
Foul, but I think Minnesota, I think they've done enough. Responding after Grand Rapids was in position to close in. Parker relaying some instructions to his teammates as Harvey's at the line. Does this game, Issa, does this get you excited, get you pumped up for the season that you're about to start in a month?
It does.
Yeah, with your new friends, new teammates. Well, I hope De La Salle's ready for you, because you're going to be joining the likes of Anisha Scott, who's going to Richmond. We get a steal for Grand Rapids. Taylor, side fade
Another
3.
one.
Yes.
Seems to be he's hot tonight.
Taylor, 35 points. Eight 3-pointers in the fourth.
Long pass
But
for
Minnesota
the and one.
getting a bunch of and ones in their favor. Williams, number 14, Bryce, that was just his first basket. Hadn't scored all game. But Sam Taylor is just flat out impressing me with 35. 24 fourth quarter points. And with under 4 to go, Minnesota.
Seems to be he's shooting it from anywhere now.
What do they say? When you're hot, you're hot? I'm running out of adjectives. Aaron pass. Minnesota can't save it.
Attempted a flashy pass.
Grand Rapids calls a timeout. 3:26. Well, you never know.
Never know.
You never know. Again, Grand Rapids needs a few more things to go their way. Isa, I've never seen a fourth like this. I know you don't have it in high school because of halves, but Sam Taylor, I've got him down for 38 points, and in this fourth quarter, 8 3-pointers. I have seen players get 7 or 8 in a game, but not in such a short stretch of time, and I think Taylor's hit all but one of his triples.
He's clinging on to hope that he really wants this game for him and his teammates.
3:26 to go, and well, I guess we've teased it. Isa's going to be, well, you go from an ESPN W100 member and Addie Mack as a teammate to having a Richmond Spider and Anisha Scott. Maddie Blaylark, she's a solid three-point shooter. You've had a chance to see her play in high school and AAU. Well, you played against her.
I did.
And De La Salle, I'm curious who else will join their ranks. I feel like there's a lot that's up for grabs here. Maybe Benilde St. Margaret's will be the favorite because, you're going up to 3A now.
Yeah.
With Kendall McGee coming back, but outside of that, I'm like, I have no idea who's going to do what.
I feel like BSM will be a different team because
Olivia Olson's now at Michigan.
And Kendall McGee, she's a little hitchy.
Well, that three-point bug is spreading. Darren Nesby's got 35, and the margin is 12.
Kendall McGee coming back from that injury. Watching her play in Fall League, she seems a little bit scared, which is understandable, but being scared in these games isn't going to really do anything for the team positively. Not do anything.
Well, we'll talk a little more about it here once we get a moment.
Foul on the ground?
Yes.
Yes, foul on the ground.
But I think we're out of fouls to give now. I'm looking at the board. I see 4. And that is indeed the case. So Nesby will go to the line to shoot 2. And remember, it's automatic double bonus. And to clarify Isa's remarks about Kendall, she missed 1.5 years with her knee injury. And any player coming back from injury, there's a little bit of that reintroduction, that reintegration.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Fall League is going to help someone like Kendall get those reps that will get her back into game mode in about a month. Nesby makes both. Grand Rapids will take a timeout. Grand Rapids 20 of 31, Minnesota 19 of 21, and Isa, here we go again.
Seems to be
Are they out of?
miscommunication.
Was it a timeout or a sub?
I think he called the timeout, but I don't think he got it. Maybe he was asking for it, and he's out. I don't know.
Nesby made both free throws, 130-120. I don't think I've ever covered any game where the score got this high. 3-ball. Uh-oh. The door may be opening for Grand Rapids. Taylor, the kick out. Another 3.
Not good. A rebound down low.
Harvey tried to kick it back out. Instead, Minnesota takes over. And Parker will shoot 2. Uh-oh.
Another technical.
That's on Cope for spiking the ball, and as soon as I saw that, I've covered games at the high school level where they've gotten people for that. You cannot spike the ball. And it goes back to what you were saying, Issa, about keeping your composure. Yes, Grand Rapids had an outside chance here, but when you're trying to come back, what you don't want to do is give your opponent free chances at points.
Yeah.
And again, we saw this in the Chicago Legends game. One of Minnesota's players was ejected for making contact with an official. But you have to remember, this is a game, and when you're trying to work your way back, you don't want to complicate it any more than it already is.
Yeah. Missed free throw.
2 of 3 for Parker. Minnesota still 22 of 26, though. 2:30 to go. Jones.
Foul on the ground.
And E.J. Haymore was getting into it with Jones for a minute. Bryce Williams pushing him aside, saying, hey, let's not lose sight of what's at stake here. I think good move by Bryce Williams. Get Haymore out of there. Give him some space. Because the last thing you want to do is draw with your opponent like that. We've seen a few technicals doled out. As Jones is at the line. Let's not forget, Grand Rapids still has a chance in a game that has blown me away with the number of scoring plays we've seen.
Very back and forth in this game.
Of course, the games are a bit longer than what I'm used to, so you would expect some higher numbers, but lots of amazing performances today. Oh, Minnesota had an open look.
Nice
They
pass
still get
for a
one.
layup.
A terrific adjustment on the part of Williams.
2 minutes left on the clock, 134 to 122.
Shots got the
Bulldogs.
beneficiary. Nesby's three.
Good.
Darren Nesby, by my count, has just hit 40. A 40-point effort. Even with the longer time, 40 points in 48 minutes is not an easy thing to do. Long three. Jones 2-on-1. Grand Rapids wants the three. I think they got a piece of it. Jones saves it.
Another one for him. Not good.
That goes off the iron. Minnesota will call a timeout. I get the intent. He's going for a three like that, but yeah, you make it a two-possession game, but with a 2-on-1, I'm thinking go for the layup.
Yeah.
You're trying to cut into that margin any way possible.
Yeah.
All right, 134-125. You got to hand it to Grand Rapids, though.
Yeah.
They were down by 27, and even if this comeback comes up short with just 6 players, that could be something they take with them. And I go back to something a broadcast partner of mine said, and we've seen it in this game, Issa. You never want to play to the scoreboard, even when the game is out of reach. You never know who's watching.
Right.
In your case, it could be coaches, potential college scouts, because I'm guessing you wouldn't mind a chance to play college ball.
I really want to play college ball, actually. It's one of my dreams.
Do you have a dream school?
I don't have a dream school, but I have a dream life. I know what I want to do in life.
Well, what is that, if you don't mind? What's that dream, or is that something you're going to wait for the biography, the autobiography?
Oh, no, I'll tell you now. I want to go to school for basketball, and I want to major in kinesiology and business. And when I'm done with school, I want to come back to Minnesota and start a personal training business and give back to the community that gave to me.
Contact on Parker, we play on. Minnesota with the swipe. Williams
Makes
Closes
the
it
time.
out. That should do it. Well, so look out for Isa running a training business down the road. Foul. I think Taylor's looking for the shooting motion. He's going to shoot free throws anyway. So kinesiology, that's your dream major?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what school you'll end up playing for. I know your mom would be more than happy if you don't end up at Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, let's not rule it out. I'm referencing a time when she went to one of their summer camps, I think, and brought home a Wisconsin shirt. Isa's mom, not a Wisconsin Badgers person. Although one of her buddies, and Ronnie Porter's there now. Sam Taylor with those free throws. He goes up to 40. Isa, I think it speaks to Minnesota's offensive output, where Grand Rapids has 2 40-point scores, but Minnesota's going to get the win. Strong move by Scott with the finish. And I think Isa, the biggest reason Minnesota will get this win, all the 20-point scores they have, including C.J. Parker's 33, but just a lot more production around.
And it's a bank.
Taylor banks it in. He wants the foul call. Taylor will finish with 43 in all likelihood. Minnesota's going to run out the clock. Foul away from the ball, I think. Isa, Sam Taylor in this fourth quarter, flat out insane.
He's hit a lot.
29 points in the fourth.
That's crazy.
But it won't quite be enough. And a big reason for that, folks like Kavarian Williams.
Oh my gosh. I think they just called a timeout. Timeout Grand Rapids with 7.2 seconds left.
And 139, 130. There's not enough time here with 9 points. But I've seen this at the high school level too.
Yeah.
You know, some teams will use all their timeouts available. But looking up and down this game sheet, C.J. Parker, 33, a little more balanced. And no big fourth quarter explosions. And get this, Isa, Sabah, no points in the fourth, but the rest of his team came out. Haymore will get 2 more. That puts Minnesota up to 140, and Taylor will take another three. The tip in, not there. It's a done deal. Minnesota with a 140-130 win, Isa.
That game was crazy.
Defense taking a back seat. If you're a fan of defense, that game wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Minnesota, I think that defense of theirs in the third, where they were able to get some steals and runouts, played a big part. But a balanced effort all around was enough to overcome a pair of 40-point scores on the part of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Your final thoughts?
That game was sure interesting, but those teams really wanted that win bad, and only one came out with the win, so.
We'll try to get a word with one of the Minnesota players before we wrap it up. This is NBL basketball. Minnesota goes to 2-1 with a 140-130 win. We're joined by Sam Taylor, one of the 2 40-point scorers from Grand Rapids. Sam, I know you would have liked a 43-point game in a winning effort, but this Grand Rapids team never showed any sign of quit, even when they went down by 27. You trying to make a fight of it, maybe a little more time might have ended differently, but where did you find that second gear? You had 9 3-pointers in the fourth, and I'm wondering, hey, if there's a G League team, NBA team that needs a 3-point shooter, sign up this guy.
Yeah, we didn't want to lose. I seen that we was down, and I was like, oh, I got to do something. And it was kind of slow the first half or whatever, but I was like, nah, fourth quarter, I got to bring it. I got to go home with something. And then that's what happened.
Well, you went home with 43 points as a result. Is that your go-to move? Are 3-point shots your specialty, or is that just something you just felt in the groove in the moment? Because I've seen players hit 8 or 9 in a game. I haven't seen too many do that in a single quarter.
Yeah, that's what they call me back home, a shooter. So I'm normally, hitting 3 points like that. So it's just a normal.
Shooters shoot, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, and this was a tight game up until the third quarter. Minnesota, I felt, borrowed a page from your book where you were turning steals into runouts early on. They did the same thing, and that's where I feel the momentum kind of changed. You only had 6 players, though, so to go at it and to try to keep up with a team like Minnesota who had the full roster, how do you compensate for that?
It was a struggle. Having us 6 players coming in, and, if we had a full squad, it would have been much different, but, yeah, it was tough. It was just tough hanging on with them and keep fighting with the team that we have. So that's how it goes.
That being said, I know there's a playoff bracket and a postseason, so I don't know if you two will meet again in the postseason competition or later on in the season. But what can this do for you? Again, every team goes in there to win it, but to play as hard as you did to make Minnesota work for it, how can that carry over to future games?
We just having our full roster, man. It's just tough just having us coming out here playing the whole full game, So we're gonna get it probably post playoffs. We'll be ready. We'll be ready again.
Those are the money games, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, of course, a lot of these players, something we've been trying to highlight, all have high school, college backgrounds. Some have played overseas. So if you don't mind, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, your story in basketball, and what keeps it going?
What keeps me going? Actually, this is the only team I played with, far as semi-pro and then high school ball. So after that, just started working out, and then got with the Fusion for 3-4 years. Never looked back. That's pretty much it. But that's pretty much my career, playing career as well. So.
And what do you hope to achieve? What do you hope to accomplish here? Are you looking for another team, or is this a way to stay involved? What are you looking to get out of playing with the Fusion like you have for so many years?
Actually, I just won a championship. I just won a championship in this Maximum Basketball League. Again, I'm 39 years old, so this is my last road, really. So I'm just trying to, get a ring at least.
Well, you keep hitting those threes. I think you've got another year or two left in you.
I say yes.
Well, that's even more impressive. Well, you know what? If LeBron can keep playing in the NBA until he's 39, why not you?
All right. Yeah, that's true.
Well, Sam, before we go, do you want to say hi to anybody who's watching this?
Hi to my girl. Hi to my mom, family, everybody back home. Just shout out to them. That's about it.
Hey, it was a heck of an effort, even with just 6 players. It didn't look that way in the fourth quarter, and I will let anyone watching this know if you want to throw some shade at people for sticking around because they're too old to play, go back and watch that fourth quarter when Sam hit 9 3-pointers. I dare you to try pulling that off at his age in 12 minutes. But Sam, again, I know you'll try to get him next time, but thanks for stopping by. And heck of a performance. I will not be doubting you if I get to see you again. I will not underestimate your ability to get that extra gear. If you can do it at 39, I think you could share a lesson or two for some of the young guns who might be going through some adversity or going through some stuff. If you can do it, I think they can too.
Exactly. Thank you.
Sam Taylor of the Grand Rapids Fusion.
Mic'd Up Sports is TSP Television's talk show series. Available on all major podcast platforms, we offer sports figures, past and present, a place to convey stories and adventures on a deeper level than our traditional game coverage. Whether you're a superstar athlete or someone who works behind the scenes, we'd be honored to share your story. If you'd like to be a guest, Contact us at TheMikePeden on all major social platforms.
And I'm joined by CJ Parker, who dropped 33 today as Minnesota put on a massive output of offense, 140, more than enough to overcome a pair of 40-point scores. But CJ, this game was tight all the way through until that third quarter where you took a page out of Grand Rapids' playbook and turned some steals into fast break points. Where did you get that separation in the third?
Basically just noticing they only had 6 guys. We had a full bench, man. I was expected to come out too from being fatigued, but, you know, I just kind of kicked it in gear when I realized, like, man, we kind of slowing it down and letting them get back into offense by not picking up full court and not, you know, being overly aggressive, especially when they only got 6 guys, man. So that's what kind of clicked in my head. So I told the team, let's put it on them.
Even with 6 players, though, they put up a fight until the end with Taylor knocking down threes. He had 9, I think, in the fourth or something to that effect. They didn't make it easy, but coming in, getting a win like this after things were a little choppier in that home opener. I don't know if you were playing in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't around for it, but to come in and give Minnesota the ability to close out, how crucial do you think that will be?
Crucial, very crucial. Like Mike said last week, like every team is a team that can play ball. Every team, as you can see, they only had 6 guys and they put up 130 points. So, like, you know, every game is crucial. Every minute is crucial. Every quarter is crucial. Every second. So it's like I like when I'm in a game and I'm playing, I want to see what I can do to help our team. You know, we have like I said, we have a deep roster. So all of them guys can score, and I'm just trying to figure out how to fit in, like whether it's defense, offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, help side, whatever I can, just so we can all click and we can all continue to win just like this game, you know. And it was a rough opener, you know, because, you know, some of our guys haven't played together yet, so we just got to form that chemistry.
And based on the box score of today's game, teammates are crucial too, because you had 33, but Kavarian Williams had a big fourth. Sabah set the tone early. You could point to a lot of different players as the reason you got the win today.
No, for sure. Sean shows up every day, aggressive. You know, Kavarian, like you said, hit a lot of threes, which is really, really neat. Like, you know, and I played with Eli a couple seasons ago with the Egan Bulldogs, so I knew how crucial he can be and how he can impact this game offensively. So like I said, I'm just trying to figure out how I can help, not just scoring, but just like doing everything else and letting them take lead in scoring or whatever. And if I have to take lead in the scoring some games, then I will, or hopefully I can, you know.
Of course, a lot of folks who play in this league are players with high school, college experience. Some have overseas experience. If you don't mind, why don't you share a little of your basketball background with us, because you may not get the attention, the headlines that the NBA players or some of the college players do, but you've put in the time, you put in the work, and you're still trying to make something of this sport called basketball.
No, for sure. I played overseas. I've recently just got back from Bolivia. I signed a contract in Brazil, but I don't think I'm going to be going over there this time. Just got my family to worry about right now, and playing with Egan Bulldogs. So, you know, I got experience. You know, I'm a pro, so hopefully I can give some of these guys that we call rookies some help, so I can help them out so they can grow their careers and help them get overseas, do the same thing I did.
Where did you play before that, before you went pro?
I played at Mount Mercy University. That's where I graduated college. So I started out at the JUCO, went Division II, transferred to NAIA, and I graduated, got 2 degrees, and now I've been traveling overseas. So.
All right, so a fantastic voyage, it sounds like, with some of the places you've been able to travel, and I think people forget. We hear about it more on the women's side, but on the men's side too. Everyone wants to make the NBA, of course, but there are lots of other ways you can make an impact. Before we go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Yeah, I want to shout out my whole family, you know, my sons and my daughter, and, you know, just everybody in Minnesota, you know what I'm saying? I like to represent Minnesota proudly. This is my home, and I love it. You know, Lynx in 5, so.
Yeah. So I think we know what you'll be watching tomorrow night.
No, for sure. Lynx in 5. Thank you.
As will the rest of us. CJ Parker from a victorious Minnesota Bulldogs team who wins 140-130. For Issa Griefenhagen and the rest of our crew, this is Mike Peden saying thank you for watching.